Apparently, Katy Perry and a few other weirdos went to space. And she spent the same amount on a ticket as the cost of my hometown's public school yearly budget. I'll start with this. Some people are saying that this whole thing was faked, that it was all staged. If that's the case, then the rocket launch had better special effects than the last 3 Marvel movies. No, it wasn't faked. This is as real as it gets. This is the new American dream. Don't address the crumbling infrastructure, ignore the hellscape of unaffordable healthcare, cover your eyes to the mass shootings, and just yeet yourself into the stratosphere. Katy Perry went from singing firework to riding one. And who's footing the bill for this intergalactic joyride? You guessed it, a billionaire-backed space company owned by Jeff Bezos. Because nothing says late-stage capitalism like a pop star turned space tourist sponsored by the same tech bros that think empathy is a glitch. Now, before anyone says, you're just mad because you're broke. Well, yes, I am. But also, like I said, this is peak late-stage capitalism. It's not even satire anymore. It's just rich people LARPing Star Trek, while the rest of us are out here playing Will My Crohn's Medicine Come This Month roulette. Katy Perry is chasing stars, while I'm chasing my will to live every time I read the news coming out of the White House, if I'm being honest. Let's watch a few clips, and then after, I'll give you my opinion on the big picture here. So here's a video of their rocket launching.
The moon! You guys! I have to tell you, look at the moon! Look! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my goddess! That's our pink moon!
Deploy from the crew capsule. Those are like...
And I stepped out of my comfort zone in a way that I never thought was possible for me. And now that I've done it, I really do feel I can take on anything. Anything.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
This is the moment that went viral here.
What a wonderful world. Why was that important to sing that particular song?
After being in space for a total of like 3 minutes, she came back and she missed Earth very much. Here's a graphic of the journey that they took. They launched. At the 3.5 minute mark, they reached the Kármán line, which I believe is the line that officially means that you officially entered space. 3 to 4 minutes of being in space, and then they dropped back down. So this incredibly arduous, life-changing journey clocked in at a whopping 11 minutes. 11 whole minutes. The New York Post tweeted a video of the return landing, and this video has been spread by conspiracy theorists all over the place. You'll see why here.
Out of her mouth, but really her heart.
And is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see.
Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
She didn't really close it again. Come on out, guys.
That door did not look like it was fastened properly. Here's a clip from the capsule when they were actually in space.
Tamir's in space.
Flynn, behind you. Look right behind you. It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn, behind you. Look at
Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha.
Oh, the moon! You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon.
That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue
Oh
line.
my gosh. Oh my goddess. Wow. That's our pink moon.
Here are the ladies on the crew speaking about it afterward.
For me, like Gail said, this wasn't a ride, it wasn't a destination. It was a journey, and it was a supernatural one. And my journey has always been about love and belonging.
I was up there, and you see Earth, and then, it's completely black. But what we got was the moon. We got to see the moon, and it was in complete and utter darkness. And then you look back at Earth, and it's like this beautiful jewel. It was...
So on the face, this whole thing just seems stupid and silly, right? Katy Perry is worth $350 million. And estimates say that a cost for a ticket on this flight usually is between $200,000 and $1 million to ride on Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' rocket. Now, I'm huge into the study of astrophysics, and I have a deep interest in the frontier of space exploration, so I couldn't say that I wouldn't buy a ticket if I had her money, But I'd like to think that I would do something good with that much money. $1 million could do a lot for a community. One of the absolute worst robber barons, Jeff Bezos, funded this whole thing. This is his rocket. And like I said, on the face, this whole thing is just stupid. Like, no one cares, right? Well, not so fast. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a famous astrophysicist and an educator and respected by many, tweeted about this. And he gave this whole expedition, this 11-minute journey, a ton of praise. So this is what he said. He said, some cast shade on celebrities getting launched into space, but the dawn of flight saw the same phenomenon. Rich, famous people flew on the first airplanes, attracting media, investors, and innovation, birthing our modern aviation industry. Essentially what Neil is saying is back in the early 1900s when aviation took off, there was publicity and rich and famous people were paying big money to get in airplanes just to get a photo op or just to get news coverage. And all of that publicity around the innovation of this new technology sparked investors and research and development, which led us down the path to rapidly industrialize it. He thinks the same thing's happening now, but with space travel. The publicity that these little stunts get, these celebrities who are paying millions of dollars to just go barely into space for 3 minutes and then come back down, it's going to spark a revolution for space travel. It's going to draw in new investors and continued research and development into the technology. And I, for one, don't think at all that the major projects that NASA works on is a waste at all, or that it's pointless. I think space travel and space exploration is where we're headed to, regardless if you like it or not. It's where we're going. I think I agree with Neil here. I'm very pro space exploration, and I think we should be investing more money into it. I think it's awesome. It's wonderful. The more that we learn about the cosmos, the more that we learn about the Big Bang and astrophysics and the beginning of our universe, the smarter we become as a species, and the more equipped we can be to ensure longevity for our species if the time ever comes where we would have to leave this planet for some reason. Yeah, the movie Interstellar, turns out it wasn't a space drama. It was a documentary. Look, I could make fun of them all day, and I could point out their cringy and corny sentiment during the interviews, when they're saying that their life was completely changed and it was a supernatural spiritual event. And like I said, I'm very pro space exploration and space technology development. But we can agree at the same time that seeing the ultra wealthy pay millions of dollars to go up in space for 3 minutes and come back down just to call it a hyper spiritual, supernatural event, life-changing, that it's super corny and cringy. And there's nothing wrong with calling out how stupid it is. So final thoughts. I like the idea of this, normalizing space exploration and space travel. Huge fan. And having an all-woman crew, like every single crew member was a woman. I think that's pretty cool. But just because this is a key moment on the frontier of space travel doesn't mean that we can't still critique it for being cringy as hell.